Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Sorry that we couldn't make it last week. There were major issues over at Twitch in general. Not our fault. Did the best we could, but we are back with more episodic D&D with Session 0 this week. Got a fantastic episode. Well, I hope a fantastic episode planned out. I've used almost half a page worth of planning for this one. I've written nearly 30 words, so it's going to be an in-depth adventure. I'm sure we're all excited and ready to get here. But for anyone who's new to the channel, good evening. My name is Josh. This is Session 0, an improvised episodic Dungeons & Dragons weekly adventure where our fantastic players do have overarching characters and there is an overarching plot, but it doesn't matter if you missed last week and it doesn't matter if you missed next week. Let's meet our characters and then we'll get on with a really fun, silly adventure. To start off with, we have our Barbarian, Rage Darling.
Hello, I play a Barbarian called Rage. She's really forming herself now as we're getting on. Like at the beginning of the episodes, oh my god, she was a bambling baboon, just a complete mess. There's a couple of clips that are quite funny where she tried to speak to another fellow male barbarian and it didn't go so well. But now I think she's really coming into herself. So
yeah, I think Rage has started to find who she is. She's found her confidence. She knows that you don't just need to smash everything with a hammer. You can, that's definitely a plan, but there's subtlety to adventuring as well, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
And we're slowly finding that. Talking about subtlety to adventurer, we have our fantastic bard, Callum Upton.
Hello, I am the party's bard. I am fantastic on a flute, not so much, and generally just up for some mischief.
So what kind of bardic tricks have you got up your sleeve when you get into a sticky situation, when you have to take on some kind of challenge? What does the bard do? What are your fallbacks?
I do a quick toot on the flute. That usually does the trick.
That's not a euphemism. You have actually got a flute, haven't you?
Yes, I do actually have a flute.
You were actually just serenading us with your rendition of My Heart Will Go On, weren't you, Cal?
I was, yeah.
Would you like to play that now, or is that going to make an appearance at an influential part of the story?
That will make a timed comical appearance, I'm sure.
Fantastic. So we do get a little bit of flute action going on. How about your classic charisma as a bard?
I'd like to think I'm quite charismatic. Other people don't seem to think so.
Okay.
But it usually works out.
You're going to be able to use some of that classic bardic charisma to maybe charm your way past some potential dangerous ne'er-do-wells?
Yeah, I'd like to think I'm quite charming, so we'll see how it goes.
We're definitely going to find out this episode, because this episode, combat is going to be very tough, and it's going to rely very heavily on your ability to solve problems without getting into fights, although I'm sure fights will happen. And if fights do happen, we have our fantastic sorceress, Trixx.
Hi, I am so ready to cast some spells today. I'm hoping that they go well.
Billy, would you tell us a little bit about your magical sorceress background?
Yeah, so, being a sorceress, you just kind of end up having magic. Like, how does that even happen? So we're kind of exploring that a little bit with her. She is noble. She has come up in a pretty good family, but her dad and her have a bad relationship. So this is daddy issues. So yeah, we're just exploring that and learning more about her. And she, unlike a lot of the party, she is a bit more well-to-do.
Mm-hmm. Yes, kind of more of a more noble background. You understand the social graces. You understand the interactions between the nobility, if you will, which is definitely going to help you out this session. Now, for anyone who's just joined us, all three of our adventurers in this fictional world, you have to be part of the Adventurers Guild to be able to go on paid adventures. Now, they took the Adventurers Guild initiation test, and while Rage is strong enough, and Billy is smart enough, and Callum is charming enough to be an adventurer, none of them are good enough by themselves. They must all stay together to collectively count as one adventurer. Therefore, they are given missions and tasks by the Adventurers Guild of this land in search of the ultimate goal, which is always money, gold, wealth, fame, and power. We start this day having travelled through the brooks, through the glens, over the fields, across the mountains, and eventually arriving at a rather large city. Actually quite big, quite bustling, And as you walk toward this city, you can see rising spires in the distance. You can see a huge fortified wall all around it, carts trundling in and out on a beaten, muddy path, and the murmur of excitement. It seems there's some kind of event going on in this city, something possibly super important, maybe a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Rage, even though you've spent most of your life in kind of barbaric camps, how do you deal in cities?
I don't like it. It's scary.
Why?
Because, like, people are annoying. And, like, yeah. They're just annoying.
So you're not a people person?
I like my slugs.
You
And
do-
I like my hole.
You do like your slugs. In fact, back home, why don't you tell us about where you lived as a barbarian?
Oh my god. Alright, I had the banging real estate, right? Get this. Hole in the forest, and it's wet, and there's a slug. There's actually quite a few slugs. And it's just the best place to be ever. I tell you what, right? It was cozy, and there were so many barbarians who wanted my hole, but it was mine. I ain't giving it out for free.
Yes, there were. So yes, you the hole in the forest was where you would curl up and live, but now you've obviously travelled out into the big wide world. Callum, how do you deal with bustling cities?
I love them. I'm somewhat of a social chameleon myself. I just, cut around in the cities, blending in, just doing bard stuff, really.
And what is bard stuff? What kind of bard stuff do you do in these major cities, Cal? Fill us in.
Oh, well, mostly I just sneak up on people and just give a quick blast of the flute from behind. It's some, entertainment.
So if you are in a city and Callum's around, be careful that he doesn't sneak up on you and give you a quick blast from his flute from behind. Always a worthy thing to take caution
Yeah,
for.
I also like to play instruments in the city as well.
Yes, you are a musician. Billy, what do you think about city life?
I don't mind city life. It can be quite fun, but generally, it's just like for weekend trips. You go and visit some of the great buildings. Maybe you go out for some fancy dinners, maybe a ball. But generally, you kind of like live on the outskirts. You don't really want to be in the rough and tumble with, I guess, all the peasants. I don't want to say that word. I don't like the P-
My goodness!
I don't like the P word,
Right.
but
So you want to go and visit all of the sights, the sounds, the museums, but you also don't want to kind of talk to the riffraff, that kind of thing.
Not at all. Yeah,
You don't want to
100%,
chat to the
no.
riff. Oh man, they're too poor for you, aren't they?
It's just I just don't want them to get my clothes dirty. I just had them cleaned. and
Yeah,
it
you don't
took
want to
a
be
long
touched
while.
by the poor people. You journey into the city because you've heard rumours that the Adventurers Guild are in need of a small elite group of people. Normally you would see an army go if it was a big danger to the land, to the realm. Normally you would see a single person be sent if it was maybe diving into a dungeon. But you've heard tell that the Adventurers Guild may be in need of a small elite group of adventurers. You're not quite sure what for, but as you walk through the gates of the city inside, there are merchants all around the place. There are tapestries hanging from the buildings. There are people hawking their wares, trying to pull you over to their stalls, and people rushing past carrying bags of food, bags of plates, bags of cutlery. There are regular people who run all the bakeries and the smithies are looking out and seeing at this huge commotion of what's going on. There is clearly an extremely big event happening in the city right now. And as you are walking through, you hear a quick, "Over here! Over here!" And glancing to the side, you see the symbol of the Adventurers Guild above a little doorway, some steps leading down, and a little guy inside kind of trying to catch your attention. Rage, what are you thinking?
Hey, guys, in that little sigil thing on there, on the board,
I think it is.
Yeah, I
you
think
think he's
you're right.
waving at us?
Like doing
I don't
some
know,
YMCA stuff.
It's quite short. Maybe it's someone behind. No, it's
it
got to be
us?
us, isn't?
Hey, you!
Yeah.
You alright?
Yeah, Adventurers Guild, aren't you?
Yeah.
Just about.
Yeah.
Shh, quiet.
Oh.
Quiet. Come on.
Oh,
We need you.
Oh.
We need you over here.
Okay.
okay.
Do you choose to follow the strange man?
Yes.
I crawl on all fours very quietly towards him.
I walk
Okay, so
normally
like you're still in the
behind
middle of the
Callum.
city, in the road, with the
Yeah.
carts trundling past you. So Rage and Billy, you walk normally across the busy road. Callum, you immediately drop to your hands and knees and just start.
Yeah.
Could
Look,
you roll a d20 to see how successful this is in the middle of a very busy city?
we got very different levels of stealth here. 19.
No. 19. What Rage and Billy see is you lower, and then they look around and legit can't see you. And then they look back over toward the little archway with the steps going down, and you just rise up behind the guy that was there. Even he doesn't realise that you've gone there, and he's just for a moment he's like, "Ugh, that was very stealthy.
Thank you.
Excellent, that's going to come in very handy. Excellent. Where are the other two? Are they coming over here? Fantastic."
I think they're just walking.
Rage and Billy walk down, and eventually the small man turns and goes, "Right, follow me." And he walks down the steps.
Oh, where are we going?
We're going to the Adventurers Guild meeting place. I'm assuming you're here about the job.
Yeah, job.
Yes.
We're always here
Excellent.
about jobs.
Fantastic. The man heads down the steps and invites you to follow. Callum, how are you feeling about this job?
I don't know. It seems a bit sketchy to me. We're going into a dark, dingy place, and we were just summoned by some random guy waving at us.
Yeah,
so.
but you're a bard. You should be totally okay with this. This is pretty much your bread and butter.
Yeah. No, that's true. I think I'll be okay.
You head down into the smaller building, and eventually your man turns around. Little dingy cavern, stone walls, moss on it, a little table. He turns around. "Ah, excellent. We can speak freely now. We've only got a few hours to plan this, so I'm bloody glad you came when you did. Right, what do you know so far?"
Absolutely nothing. Who are you?
Right, sorry to interrupt. My name is Guard Captain Roberts. I run the local city guard round here. We're one of the final few independent kind of guard regimes, and we've asked the Adventurers Guild for help because this is way beyond our pay grade. How much do you know about Frederick von Smythe?
Who's that?
I know his name.
Is that because I've just said it?
Yes.
Good. Right, is there somebody else I could talk to about this mission? You smart-looking one with the magic. I'll chat to you about... Yes, you put your hand up.
Yes.
You had your hand up. I assumed you had a question.
No, I thought you said you wanted to talk to the smart one.
Yes.
It's okay.
He means...
Yes.
Yeah, when you said magic after it was quite clear that was not me. Continue, please.
This is awkward.
He turns around. Is there any other adventurers? Okay, fine, you'll do. Frederick von Smythe, one of the richest businessmen in the land, pretty much owns this entire city, hands in many, many pies. Have you seen all the farmland on your journey here?
It's all we saw.
Frederick owns all of it, bought up in what we think are illegitimate auctions. Did you see the guardhouse as you walk through the city gates?
We did.
Privately owned by Frederick, pretty much private security for him. And did you see the towering marble spire in the distance, that gauche manor with gilded gold and leaves all around it?
I did thought it was a bit extra.
Built by Frederick. We don't know where the money came from. Now, we've been trying for years. You, lady with big hammer, are you aware of the businessman Frederick von Smythe?
No, but if he's got loads of pies, I'm happy to know him.
Right. When I say fingers in many pies, it's almost a euphemism, if you will, for he controls a lot of the goings-on around here. I must reiterate, there are no actual literal pies.
Not even small pies?
My knowledge of the inside of his manor is limited. There may or may not be a number of pies in his manor.
It's worth the risk then.
All right, I'm down.
Right, that is not... Okay, that is neither here nor there. You may encounter pies. What we need you to do is this. Frederick has never opened his house or his manor to the general public. Ever. Only ever his elite friends. But today, he's made one of the biggest purchases in his financial history. And he is opening his house for an open day. Now, you need an invitation. And we've managed to secure 2. We need a small group to infiltrate his manor, find any evidence of his illicit wrongdoings, any evidence of his illegal purchases, most likely held within financial documents, and then bring them back to us, and we can finally prosecute him. Do you believe you could do this?
2 invites.
Yeah, you see the issue we've got here. Now, getting into the manor, we've got a couple of plans. If we give you an invite, you can walk straight in, no problem at all. However, there are multiple layers of security, and eventually someone is going to realise you're probably not nobility. We know there's a sewer connection underground, which will pop you up, we think, in the kitchen. You can access it via the roof, from jumping a few of the other buildings in the city, or, if you're feeling suicidal, you can just charge your way in blindly, swinging, hacking and slashing, although I wouldn't recommend that.
Rage likes sewers.
I like stinky holes.
I think
Places.
I have an idea.
Wait.
You, smart one,
Okay.
what's your idea?
Okay, so, Rach, you know I love you, but you really don't give me any nobility vibes whatsoever. If we were back home, I'd probably send you to work. So maybe I can make you invisible. Hope maybe. I'm confident in my abilities.
You made her chest transparent last time.
Yeah. You don't have the greatest track record of making things invisible, Trixx.
It was one time.
Yeah. And then you also try to spawn a table and squish someone with the table. And then you also tried to make Sandwich follow you and
don't make me bring out your list. Okay, my
whatever.
idea.
I've not
Me and
done
Callum
much.
going through the front door. I make you invisible. I am definitely gonna be able to pass, and I'm sure with some sweet talking from Callum, he can get through the front door as well and avoid everyone else.
I'm sure I
Alright.
can.
I would like to just reiterate that we don't need to do the forward assault with the passes. That's just one option. We know
Right.
we can sneak you in via the sewers. We know we can possibly get you in via the roof. You can maybe just climb in through the window if you're pretty much sure you can't get seen, although it's a very heavily guarded complex.
I think we should take the sewers, because if we leave her alone, God knows what's going to happen.
That's
You
Right.
smashed a child's face into a tree last time.
that is
We left you
true.
alone.
That did happen.
Yes, I did.
Sewer it
But
is?
that wasn't my fault.
don't
I'm at home
do
when it
sewers.
comes to dark, dingy places. So I'm good with sewers. It's just where the pretty princess over here is.
Okay, well, look, Pretty Princess doesn't want to go through the sewers. God forbid
Okay.
that somebody else wants to keep clean.
If I go invisible, there's a big chance I'll get a pie, right?
I can
Sure.
neither confirm nor deny the existence of pies within this manor. Although it is a dinner, it's a gala for rich people. There's probably going to be finger food, maybe vol au vents, possibly little glasses of wine. I don't know if there's going to be like a full-on pie.
I'll take my chances. Let's go. And I walk out the door.
Rage, come back. We haven't finished the plan.
No, Rage leaves. Rage just goes. She's just gone. He looks... So is she part of the plan? Right, what do you two think we should do? She seems very set on this be made invisible plan and then just walking through the front, which I'm assuming you as a wizard or a sorceress are getting involved in.
I don't want her to just walk through the front door. I thought, Callum, were you going to convince her to take the sewers? That's a much better option.
I thought I'd convinced her, apparently not.
As long as you all
Okay.
meet up once you're inside the manor, your method of ingress can be different. That's fine if you want to do that. It really
Oh,
doesn't
some
bother me.
sewer crawling.
As long as you bring me the documents back, I really don't care.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Trixx, what's your plan then?
I'm going to go catch up with Rage, and if she's trying to go through the front door, I'm going to either make her invisible or try to, and if not, just convince the people somehow that she's my servant or something. I don't know. I'll make it
Right,
up as I
well,
go along.
you'll need these. Captain Roberts passes you 2 tickets to the gala. They both introduce you as landed nobility. Unfortunately, this will mean that you need to hang out and chat with other landed nobility and keep up the pretense that you are.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
Right. I believe that the guest receptions are... You've got about maybe 30 more minutes if you're going through the main door. The party starts in about an hour.
Let's go then.
Okay, let's go.
Just-
Let's make a move.
Please be careful. Frederick von Smythe is a remarkably rich man, and we know that he hires private security. You look like you could take care of yourself, but Not against those guys.
Okay, so it's this is a stealth job. Right.
100%.
Yes, ideally. Well, good luck. And if anyone asks, we've never met. Meet me back here this time tomorrow with the documents.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Captain Roberts leaves the room and walks off into the crowd. As he walks up the steps, Rage, does he see you at the top of the steps as well? Or have you ran off toward the manor?
I ran off towards the manor.
He looks around, sees nothing, and disappears and blends into the crowd. Rage, how are you feeling walking straight toward the manor without a guest pass or your sorceress?
Full confidence, because I believe that Billy's already done her invisibility, and we've already sorted all that, so why would I need to worry? I go straight up towards the guards.
You believe you're already invisible.
Yeah.
You walk straight through the main city. At the end of the main street, there are shops off to your sides with small little snaking roads going off into the distance around more businesses and more walls. But in the centre of the city, a huge, grand, opulent palace made of steel, marble and gold trim around the edge, with a huge, big, spiked, fenced gate all the way around it, and standing at intermittent places, guards in lovely, shining steel armour, long swords, helmets covering their faces. There is a line of people carrying boxes of food and of cutlery and of party supplies, slowly filtering in and out from a side gate. The main gates, though, have 3 guards standing out front, swords on the floor, holding their handles, stoically looking around at a crowd that has begun to gather. The gate is very slightly open behind them, but no one is walking toward them. Callum,
Where?
what are you doing?
I'm trying to find the entrance to the sewer. I'm walking around the perimeter having a little scout.
Do you mean the perimeter of the actual building itself,
Yes,
the huge big open? It's
yeah.
quite big, so as you begin to walk around, you can see Rage in the distance, striding confidently toward these 3 guards standing out the front. Billy, are you with Callum?
No, I'm trying to catch up to Rage.
You're trying to catch up to Rage. You manage to catch up to her pretty quickly, and you kind of grab her just before Rage strides toward these 3 things.
Wait, hold on. I haven't done the thing yet. And with a ringing sound that comes through my mind, I cast invisibility.
Roll a d20, see how successful this is.
That is a
Timing.
12.
That is a 12. The spell is successful. Billy has to go
On
and
Billy.
recharge her magic now.
Billy's got invisible.
Billy is... Yes.
Oh, that backfired, literally.
Rage, you look down and you see your feet begin to blend into nothing, and then slowly your legs, your thighs, your stomach, your chest, and eventually your arms, until it's just your eyeballs looking at Billy, and then they slowly fade into nothing. Now, Billy, you don't know how long this spell is going to last, but Rage, you have been made invisible.
Woohoo!
What's your next plan?
Okay, you just need to go straight through. I don't know how long this invisibility is going to last, but at least you'll be inside. Can you do that?
Yeah. So, I want to turn around and go towards the guards.
Yep, they can't see you.
Yeah.
You manage to
Right.
push through the crowd without touching anyone. 3 guards, clad in silver armour, sharp swords, making sure nobody comes into this manor or party without being invited. The side gate, the one that's the helper effectively going into and out of all the food, that is heavily regulated and checked. But you're walking through the main gate without being seen.
Oh, okay.
The problem
I
is-
want to go.
The gate's slightly ajar, but not quite enough ajar to get through without opening it a little bit more.
Okay. I want to go a couple of centimeters in front of one of the guards.
Yep.
I don't want to be like, "Ooh," just to check that he can't see me.
He doesn't react.
Okay, cool. Then I go, blow in his face.
He darts back a little bit, looks around.
And then I'm going to go to his other side, where his other guard friend is, and we're going to blow in his face from the other side.
The other guard darts back and looks around. One looks at the other looks at the other. They both kind of shrug and stay looking forward.
I
What?
push them, one of them, back towards the gate, and blow in his face again.
Roll the d20.
Trying to make wind.
Oh my goodness.
Trying to make wind.
You're trying to make wind to open the gate.
17.
And you're...
No, to push the guy.
Right,
Why?
so you're trying to... You think you're strong enough to blow him back into the gate to knock it open, and you just go...
Well, he might might be like, ugh, spit in my face. What is this? And I'm like, rah.
He stumbles back once or twice, but is able to catch himself before he falls into the open gate behind him. The two other guards looking at him kind of shake their head at his lack of decorum and stand there stoically still. Rage, while you're trying to push these guards around, Callum, you think you found the entrance to the sewer. Unfortunately, you found it because there is one guard sat on a tree stump with a sword over his shoulder and a visor on his helmet up, kind of looking around. Obviously, they've already considered this eventuality, and he is guarding it.
How close is he to the entrance of the sewer?
It's pretty much directly in front of him. It's simply a manhole on the floor.
Right. Are there any shrubs or like bushes nearby?
There are a couple of shrubberies around the place. The actual sewer manhole entrance is just off the beaten path. There's a couple of trees and there's a few little shrubberies and bushes around the place. What's your plan?
So, I want to hide in the bush nearest to the manhole. Mm-hmm. And then on my magical flute, play a little tune like Pied Piper in hopes of summoning a rabbit out of a further away bush to distract the guard.
Okay. You walk up to the bush. Roll a d20.
That is a 5.
The guard looks over and sees you as you awkwardly push apart the brambles and the bristles of the bush, step inside with leaves shaking and falling off, making a lot of noise, and then as you slowly descend to hide behind, you lock eyes with the guard, and he stares at you quizzically as you just gently descend and hide within the leafy green foliage. The guard is fully aware that you are there.
Right.
Billy, while Rage is attempting to push guards around via invisibility and Callum has just climbed into the foliage in full view of everyone, what are you doing?
I am... Rage obviously walks straight up to the guard. She's trying to get in. I'm just going to, with my one ticket that I've got my other one still in the pocket as I've got them. But I'm just going to walk straight up, make myself super straight, make sure that I've got nothing on me before I proceed and try to get into the party, basically.
You're going to walk straight toward them. The guard that hasn't stumbled back, one of the ones to the right-hand side, steps forward. Invite only, ma'am, sorry.
Yes, that's precisely why I'm here. Here you go.
He takes the invite and looks at you. Roll a d20.
6.
6. He looks at the invite. You're Thomas.
Yes. The Thomas? Surely you've heard of me.
I'm afraid I haven't. Refresh my memory.
Oh, my goodness. Well, my father, you see, he collects antiques. And you know what people like to do with antiques? They like to buy them. So my father has a lot of money and a lot of privilege. So if you don't let me in, then you're going to be hearing from him.
Roll the d20.
I was wondering where you were going with the whole buying thing.
That's a 5.
You mean your father is Thomas Anders, the esteemed collector of historical artifacts?
Precisely.
The man we let in about 30 minutes ago.
Yes, I'm clearly his daughter. Can you not see that? Are you stupid?
He calls over the other guard from the side, and they stare at the ticket for a little bit. It clearly says Thomas Anders on it, historical artifact collector. You do not look like Thomas Anders to them, and while they are discussing it, Rage, what are you doing?
Is the gate open?
Not yet. It's
still
not
ajar,
locked.
yeah.
It just needs to be pushed open slightly.
Okay. I see this kerfuffle going on.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm going to have to just open the gate. My smart plan wasn't working. So I opened the gate just a little bit to get my little body through.
Yep.
Sorry, my huge body.
Mm-hmm.
And can I look on the floor? Like, is there any twigs or stone or anything?
It's quite neatly trimmed inside the actual grounds itself. They clearly have a groundskeeper, so any errant leaves or sticks have been picked up. But just on the outskirts of the gate, where it opens against the ground, there is a little kind of build-up of pebbles and rocks and dust and twigs and sticks.
Sick. I grab all the pebbles I can in my hand. And I stand all the way back, like a good 2 meters back from the guards. And I'm just going to start at the guards' heads.
Roll a d20.
15.
The guards are still looking at the ticket, and when one of them feels a quick hit on his head, turns to look, and all he sees is a floating pile of debris in the air, slowly kind of pinging itself off from the main clump toward you. Being a little bit scared of this strange magical phenomenon, he nudges the other guard, and they both look at it as well. The third guard that was stumbled back turns to look. All 3 guards are now staring at a floating clump of stones and foliage just on the inside of the gate. Billy, they're not paying attention to you. Callum, you're still in the bush, staring between the leaves at the guard who's staring back at you, who is now slightly distracted by what he can see in the distance of 3 of his colleagues being pelted by little pebbles.
Is he looking the opposite way to the point that I could slip into the sewer, or would I need
Not
to...
at all. It's directly in front of him. He would notice you immediately.
Right, okay, so I say to him, I'm like, hi, I am, have you heard of the Pied Piper?
Are you saying that from the bush?
Yes.
So just the bush goes, have you heard of the Pied...
Yeah.
What?
You know, the Pied Piper, the guy who summons rats with flutes? You know the one, right? Very famous.
It's a children's story. Are you all right in that bush?
No, it's not a children's story. It's me. I have been hired to clear out a rat infestation in the sewers.
And that needs you to be in a bush?
No, I was just checking if it was a possible rat's nest in here to see, like, the source of the problem. It's not. It's just a bush.
All right, and what do you want from me?
Yeah, I'm just letting you know that I'm going to be entering the sewer to clear out this rat infestation.
I mean, not without a permit, you're not.
Did they not tell you I was coming?
I've just been told let no one in or out of this sewer. They don't tell me anything, mate. They just tell me my job.
Oh, no one is actually my nickname.
Roll a d20.
15.
Oh, you're no one.
Yeah, that's me.
All right, cool. You're still not coming in and out of the sewers.
Well, that's that plan gone.
Did you say that out loud?
No.
What plan?
I need the plans of the sewer as well, actually, if you have them.
Mate, I'm just a guard. I
was
don't
told
own
someone
the
would be here
sewers.
to meet me.
I didn't build the sewers.
Look, I was told this would be an easy job and that someone would be here with the plans of the sewer waiting for me.
Well, I'm sorry, mate, but that's just not me. All I've watched you do is jump into a bush and say you're the Pied Piper.
I play a distracting, hypnotizing flute tune.
The guard is annoyed, scared, a little bit confused. Is there someone that you're meant to be with? Like, do I need to fetch someone?
Yes, please.
All right. Okay, hang on. I need to just... He looks over toward his 3 friends who are having stones pelted at them. While you are just sitting in... You're still in the bush, by the way. You haven't moved. Billy.
Yeah.
The 3 guards have been distracted by the stone throwing, and over in the distance you hear a fantastic, accurate rendition of My Heart Will Go On that apparently seems to be coming from a bush, with a guard intently staring at the bush. While everyone is distracted, what are you doing?
Okay, are they all looking away from me now? Can they all see me? Are they, like, what's happening with them? Like,
They're
are
still
they
very
all
close
just
to you, and they're
staring
aware
at
you're
Rage?
there, but they're distracted by a floating mass of debris and a flute bush.
Okay, can I detect thoughts on, like, the main guy who was, like, handling...
You can, roll a
looking at
d20.
the rocks? 7.
So far, his thoughts are just, I kind of wanted the sewer position.
Great, okay. I don't know what else I could do. I'm gonna back away.
I
just a
begin
couple
throwing
steps.
rocks more violently to get
And,
their
like,
attention.
I'm gonna pretend to be like confused by this as well. Well, what's going on?
What's going on? I don't know what's happening. You back away slightly. One of the guards walks through the gate into the inner grounds toward you, Rage. You're still holding a pile of debris, so he obviously knows where you are. What are you going to do?
Throw more, violently more.
You're just going to throw the rest of the debris that you've got at him.
Yeah.
Okay, roll a d20.
13.
You throw a handful of small pebbles at the armoured knight. They bounce harmlessly off his armour and fall to the ground as he looks down, and then back up in a rather confused state. Billy, one guard is effectively left, the other one that you read the thoughts of is glancing over toward the guy that was sat down on the by the sewers, the one that Callum is serenading right now. They both seem distracted. What are you going to do?
Oh, there's not much I can do. I want to. I want to create a minor illusion of somebody.
What?
Of just like a random peasant-looking kind of person, trying to sneak in.
Okay, roll a d20.
2.
Oh no.
You manage to create a perfect peasant-looking illusion. Horrible drab clothes, long, scraggly, greasy hair, blood dripping down from some old wounds, scabs and scars. This is like a real nasty, downtrodden-looking person. Unfortunately, because you're focusing on your previous spell, you create this illusion perfectly over Rage. And all three guards turn and look and shout, "You! Get out here!" Rage, what are you doing? That's the noise you're going to make.
Yep.
That's
while
the war cry.
Running backwards.
Running backwards toward the manor or back through the
Yes.
gate toward the crowd?
The manor.
You're just so illusion disguised as a peasant. You're just going to run flailing and screaming into the manor.
So, wait. So, am I now... Do I see an illusion over me?
Yes.
Or am I now...
You are still invisible. However,
So the illusion follows me?
yes,
Oh, shoot.
you've effectively been. The illusion has kind of melded itself onto your skin.
I see. Right. I still run backwards into the manor.
Roll a d20.
Oh, gosh. Please, 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 please. 8.
You manage to run pretty successfully back toward the manor. All three guards realise something's wrong. Two of them dart through the gates and begin to sprint after you. One of the ones that you threw rocks at and one that was watching Billy. The other one is staring longingly over toward the sewer and the guy that gets to sit down, and he's still quite jealous about that. Rage, you run up and you reach the main door. Huge, marble, gilded steel. It's lovely. It's intricate. You grab one of the handles. How do you try and open it?
I twist it.
Roll a d20.
Off it.
Off it. 2.
It is a pull door. So what you end up doing is grabbing the pole and twisting it horizontally in a show of force. Both guards
cool.
chasing after you stop and watch, as they have just seen a random peasant, as far as they're concerned, grab a metal bar and twist it sideways, which is an incredible show of strength. Callum, while all this is going on, the guy that's standing at the sewer has stopped paying too much attention to you and has stood up and taken a few steps toward the other guards in the distance. He's looking around. He can see a peasant running toward the door and then twisting the handle. He's not paying too much attention to you anymore. What are you doing?
Okay. I want to sneakily lift the manhole cover off, slide in, put it right back where it was.
Roll a d20.
Good luck.
14.
It's not super sneaky, but you do manage to take a few steps out of the bush, shaking the leaves and twigs off you, lifting up the manhole cover, sliding it to the side. You drop down gently and you slide it back over the top, and now you are in the dark of the sewer. There's a ladder leading down a few feet. Are you going to try and traverse downwards?
Yeah, but I'm gonna do it where you just kind of slide down like cool movie style, like a foot on each side of the rails and just straight down.
Roll a d20.
Bollocks.
If you get a 20 on this and nothing else tonight.
The one.
Oh.
You jump off, and you grab the sides. You slam your feet to the side, and you go to slide down. And then you realise this ladder doesn't have a side. This ladder is just rings that come out from the actual rock in front of you. So instead of grabbing onto anything, you've effectively pushed yourself off the ladder, made fists, stuck your feet out, and then you fall straight down, slamming hard onto the floor. Sewer water splashes up all around you and soaks into your clothes. Your ankle twists under the weight of you crashing down onto it. And you now smell exactly like sewer.
Brilliant.
You do manage to stand up and you haven't injured yourself too badly, but you stink. It's extremely obvious.
Right.
Billy, you've watched the guards chase in this peasant illusion that you've created over Rage. You've seen the other sewer guard stand up and look, and then you've seen Cal jump out of the bush, sneak, lift up a manhole, drop the manhole back, and then you've listened very carefully and heard a kind of, ah, and then a splash. What are you doing now?
So is there still one guy that's like on me? So the two guys are watching Rage. One guy is still back.
Yeah, he's kind of half paying attention to you and half paying attention to the sewer.
Okay. I don't know what I want to do. Okay, I don't want to fight anyone. I don't want to fight.
You definitely won't win in a fight.
No. Can I?
Speak to a manager.
Yeah, can I speak to the manager? No, can I cast Mage Hand and open the door that Rage did not open to try to help her to let her get away?
Roll a d20.
15.
You focus, and a small magical ethereal blue hand extends from you through the gaps in the fence, across the opening in the front courtyard of the building, up to the main door. It grabs the now twisted handle and pulls slowly open. Rage, you notice this hand doing this. You are still effectively illusion disguised as a peasant. Are you going to react to this in any way?
Yes, I turn around and in my civilian form, I will squat and open my jaw and go, "Ah, you are next!" Grrr! In an attempt to intimidate them.
While the door opens behind you.
Yes.
Roll a d20. This is intimidation, so you'll have proficiency on it. So you can add 2.
5.
So a total of 7. Or a
No, 5.
A total of 5.
Can I undo that roll a second to pretend we didn't do it?
No.
No!
No, you've done that now. That was your plan.
No takesy backsies.
That was your plan.
Damn.
You just kneeled down, roared, and then just opened your mouth.
Yeah.
The two
Primitive
guards
SpongeBob.
kind of look at each other, draw swords, and then advance towards you. One of them holds his hand out, attempting to grab you as he gets close to you. The door behind you is open. What are you going to do?
Turn and run.
Turn and run. Roll a d20.
Boys and girls, it's ogre.
What is it?
It's a 5.
A 5? Think of a witty line that you would say before you run away from these guys. You just crouch down, you've said it's you're next. They've advanced towards you. What's your line?
Less fighty, more scooty.
Less fighty, more scooty, you say, as you turn round and run at full speed into the still closed other door, knocking yourself backwards onto the front part. One door is totally open, and you've just slammed yourself in. As you do, the illusion fades off you and you go back to looking like a regular barbarian. The two guards are very confused at what's just happened. Billy, your mage hand opened the door. And as the impact of Rage's face into the door reverberates around the courtyard, because it was very powerful, the guard near you takes a few steps away from you and kind of strains his neck to get a better look. What are you doing?
Oh my gosh, can I want to get away from this. I'm kind of stuck in it all. Don't worry, I can help. And I'm just gonna like run and try to like pretend that I'm also going to stop them.
Okay. Going to stop who? Rage?
The peasant.
Going to stop the peasant. The illusion has faded now and it's just Rage lying on the floor.
I mean, yeah.
You're going to run toward Rage.
I'm gonna go help.
You're going to go help.
Don't worry, I'm a medic.
The two guards look towards you. What?
I can help.
Roll a d20 to see if they believe you. This is a charisma check.
18.
18. Yeah. Just, is she okay?
I don't know. I'm gonna go find out. I just run straight over.
The two guards let you pass, but they do stand around carefully and cautiously watching you to make sure that you don't do anything funny or anything weird. They're standing there. Callum, you managed to stand up and dust yourself off, although you still stink.
Yes.
Right, do you know how to get through the sewers to the manor?
I don't, but I want to take a precaution. Being as obviously that was quite a crash, and I believe Billy heard it from the other end of the manor. Mm-hmm. I would like to attempt to cast heat metal to weld the manhole shut, in case anyone does come for me.
Do you know the heat metal spell?
Don't know, do I? I think I do, don't I?
I think you know basic spells as a bard. Do you want to try and concentrate your magical energy to attempt to weld the metal shut when you're in a sewer?
Yeah, because the beats that I'm going to be dropping are so hot, I'm going to just weld it shut.
If you can play a hot beat on the flute...
Oh, bugger. Now, let me think of something. How's Mortal Kombat go? Okay, no, that's all I got.
That was perfect. That was absolutely perfect. Cal, roll a d20 just for the... In fact, roll with advantage. Roll 2 d20s and choose the highest because of that beautiful beat.
Oh, well, that's a 17.
That's a good roll.
That is an 18.
Fantastic. It's a good, solid roll. And you manage to focus as you are playing the flute on the edges of the manhole, and you start to see the metal begin to melt and drip slightly and then immediately harden again. It's not a perfect weld, but you have managed to melt the edge of the manhole together. And if someone were to pull it off, they would need some kind of heavy-duty tools to do this. They would need a couple of guys to be able to break these connections. Right. You look down the extremely dark sewer. There is no light source. How are you beating that?
That's a good question. Is there anything I can pick up nearby, like any sort of wall torches that aren't lit, or any sort of like sticks that I can light?
It is dark. You don't know.
Okay.
Roll a d20 for perception.
Okay. 7.
It's dark. That's pretty much it. You know that the floor is wet, and you know that as you were coming down, looked around, it's pretty much just a standard cylindrical sewer down in one direction.
I do have a plan for this.
Okay.
I want to feel around, feel which way the water's flowing, and go against the flow, because I'd imagine that's, towards where sewage is coming out the manor.
Yes. Yeah. It's a good plan. It's not a nice plan, but it does work.
I'm already covered in God knows what, so...
You stick your hand in the open running sewer water. It's not super deep, but you can definitely tell which way is effectively upstream.
Right. I want to start to just crawl that way.
You're able to stand on the edge of the sewer, a little kind of walkway where you're not in the majority of the liquid, and you do walk all the way up nicely. Rage, you open your eyes after having almost knocked yourself out by squatting down, shouting your neck, turning around and just scuttling into a door before knocking yourself almost out on it. You open your eyes to Billy in front of you, 2 guards standing there, an open door, and a strange man leaning out of the open door, obviously a guest of the manor party, looking down at you, concerned.
Mummy?
Oh, no.
Is it you?
What?
No.
You're talking to me, or? No, I'm
Daddy?
no, I'm not your father. I'm Thomas Anders. I collect antiques.
Oh dear.
That's your daddy.
What?
Isn't it, Trixx?
No.
What are you?
I don't know what you're... I don't know what you're talking
Your
about.
invite.
One of the guards stands up. Mr. Anders, we have your daughter here. Anders looks at you, Billy. Oh, of course, yes. How do you do, daughter?
It's been a busy day. Can we come inside? This is my friend, by the way. I do have an invite for her, but the guards were being really funny.
Yes, of course. Thomas actually motions for you to come closer, Billy.
I get up and come closer.
Who is your mother? How did you find me?
I'll tell you later if you let us in.
Is your mother Julia? Is it Kirsten?
You'll find out more later, I promise.
Roll a d20.
9.
This is not over. I told her, never, ever search for me. Never look for me, never find me. You shouldn't know I exist.
Well, technically she didn't. I did, and I'm here. Now let me in, please.
Fine. Yes, guards, this is my daughter. Thomas steps back. The guards eye you suspiciously. What about her?
My +1. I'm her carer.
Clearly. Billy, are you going to attempt to lift Rage Darling up and drag her inside? Clearly, Thomas Anders has a bit of a sordid past. Clearly, there were a few affairs every now and again and a few affair children dotted around the place, so it's highly likely that you may be one of his long-lost daughters. He was a bit of a dog in his time. The antique business does that to people. Believing that legitimately you may have actually found him and searched him out, he would rather have that conversation in private inside than in public in front of the guards and embarrass himself. So, Billy, you've managed to pretty much blag your way in. Rage, you're still in pain and slightly concussed. Are you going to be able to stand up and follow Billy inside?
I think I'll try and, drag myself across, the floor, if my legs don't work.
Okay, well,
Like they used to before.
your legs work fine, but you pretty much drag yourself inside this extremely exclusive party. And when you look up, even in the entrance hallway, there are nobles. There is nobility. There is money. There is landed gentry here. And a few of them stop to look at you. Oh, my goodness. Oh, good lord. Oh, I say.
What? You ain't ever seen a barbarian crawl on the floor before?
Oh, no, don't talk. Oh, no.
One of the waiters walks up to you. Excuse me. You need to leave.
She's my +1. We're just going to the ladies' room. We need to freshen up. She's not well.
I see.
This is ableist. My legs don't work. You're kicking me out because of that?
No, we're kicking you out because of everything else and who you are.
Excuse me. This is rude. This is bad. I'm being kicked out because my legs don't work.
No, you're being asked to leave because you're clearly part of the riffraff. But if you're here with Anders' daughter, then the ladies' room is that way. The butler points quickly. Billy, are you able to get Rage up onto her feet?
Yeah, I'm just going to pull her up and as quickly as possible, just round the back of everyone, try to be as not seen and sneaky as possible to go to the toilets.
So you're pretty stealthy.
Good.
Rage, you're pretty much being carried through, slightly concussed, this very exclusive, expensive party. While that's happening, Callum, how's your sewer adventures going?
It's a bit shit.
You've walked through. As you walk through, you're listening for noises above you. You can hear what sounds like a blacksmith off to one side. You can hear possibly a bakery off to the other. But you've kept walking pretty much in a straight line until you reach what you think is the only other ladder.
Okay, I'd like to climb up it and take a little peek out the top.
You climb up. The top is actually a wooden kind of little lifty thing. Wanna peek up and have a look?
Yeah, just a little, slanty eyes through the...
You open it up and you look
crack.
around. You're in some kind of garden. Clearly a garden within the interior of the manor. The walls are far away from you now. You can see what looks like the kitchen, as there's a window on a building, a wall only a few feet away from you, and you can see people dressed in chef's uniforms cooking and preparing food. It's highly likely that you've entered into an internal garden area, and if you were to pop up, you'd be able to go into the kitchen from here.
Yeah, I'd like to do that then.
Stealthily or quickly and angrily?
Stealthily. I want to sneak up. I don't want anyone to see me.
Roll a d20.
15.
15. You manage to lift up, and as you start to crawl out, you realise there are a couple of other people in this garden, hanging around, a few smoking pipes, a few drinking, clearly just partygoers enjoying the night, but none of them are looking or paying too much attention to you. However, as you open the door, you do see one of their faces kind of go, oh. Oh, goodness. Oh. They've smelt something, and it's you. They haven't seen you yet, but they are definitely aware that, oh, God, this isn't nice at all. You manage to sneak out of the sewer, and now what are you going to do? There are bushes, there's a tree, there's a big wall, and there's the building of the kitchen, but you need to stay, ideally, somewhere shadowy.
Yeah, I'd like to sneak along the wall outside the kitchen and see if there's any, like, chef's clothing or, overalls that I can, like, reach through a window and maybe grab.
You sneak along the internals of this little garden. There are a couple of people over to the side partying, and once the sewer lid closes, the smell is not as bad, but you still stink. As you get closer to the kitchen area, the walls and the windows, you don't notice any chef's aprons, any clothes. There's 2 or 3 chefs working inside, but nothing else that you can find.
Are the chefs, like, coming in and out of the building?
One of them occasionally is popping outside and picking some leaves off a tree, just to add to the mix that they're making right now.
I want to, as he walks past, grab him round the neck, pull him into a nearby bush and choke him out.
Roll a d20. 14. The kitchen door opens and a guard walks out into the actual little open garden area, picks a few bay leaves off a bush and then walks back in. As he goes to the door to push inside, you jump out, grab him, pull him back into the shadowy corner of the garden you're in, wrap your arm round his neck. This guard, however, works for an incredibly rich man, and so quickly manages to flip out of the headlock, turns around and raises his fist in front of you, about to fight, a bay leaf in each hand. Cal, what are you doing?
Sorry, I thought you were an intruder. I'm part of the security here. I was just checking the sewers for any intruders. It's all clear in there, apart from the obvious.
Roll the d20.
15 again. Or, well, yeah, was it 14 last time? 15, yeah.
The hell you think I'm an intruder for? I'm wearing a chef's uniform. I'm cooking in the kitchen. You just got all this all over me.
I'm so sorry. Let me come with you and help you clean off. Where do they keep the aprons and
This is
stuff?
disgusting. What are you doing?
Sorry.
Come on, let's get us both some spare clothes. Stay there. Don't come into the kitchen. You stink.
Yeah, no problem.
The chef walks back and opens the door and just shouts, "Oi, Timmy, can you grab me some change of clothes, please, mate? I've just been grabbed by a sewer man." A small child runs over and holds up 2 little clean pairs of chef's uniforms. "Here you go, father." Clearly a young chef in training. The chef takes one of the spare uniforms, looks at you, and then angrily throws it at you.
Perfect. I put it on.
The chef gets changed and goes back to cooking. A few of the people in the garden have started to look over at the commotion. A few of them are aware of you as well. One of them looks like he might actually legitimately be security, who's now side-eyeing you slowly. He doesn't recognise you from the security roster, but you've not tipped him off enough yet. You are now dressed as a chef. Are you putting the chef clothes on top of your currently stained clothes, or are you taking your currently stained clothes off?
I go back into the bush where I've tried to choke the chef out. I take off all my stuff, leave it there in a nice neat pile, and just get the the overalls on.
You are now dressed as a chef, and you walk inside the kitchen, I'm assuming?
Yes, I do.
You do. Billy, how's it going? You've managed to carry Rage effectively past a lot of very, very noble guests, and you've walked down one of the corridors now. It's a lovely smell coming from the corridor, and as you glance right in through one of the doors, you notice this is the kitchen, and you can just about see through the kitchen. You can see a little window which looks out into a small open garden area, and you can see Callum naked by a bush. So you don't dwell too long on this sight. You continue walking down the corridor until you eventually see what looks like a female restroom, if you will, and you duck in there quickly with Rage. There's a guard standing out.
So she doesn't have to see.
Yeah, you're covering her eyes to make sure. Just roll a d20 for how well the cover her eyes goes.
Yeah, nobody wants to see the flute.
5.
You slap her. So as you walk past the kitchen, you glance to the side, realise Callum's out there, Rage glances as well, and you instinctively just...
Oh, it's rude.
The guard, standing outside the ladies' toilet, sees you slap Rage and then kind of gets a bit shocked. This guy's a bit more timid, and so just stands there and watches you as you both go in. As you walk past, he goes, "Hello."
Hello.
That's it. That's the extent.
You know you don't need to talk to the guests, right? That's not your job.
I'm sorry.
Good.
Sorry, it's my first
Okay.
job. The first job. I'm trying.
Oh.
I give him a copper. That's
You
to
get-
shut up.
You give him a coin.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you. This is very kind of you. You're a kind, kind woman.
We actually really, really need a wee.
Oh, God, yes, of course. He steps out of the way and lets you in.
Come on, Rach.
The bathroom is extravagant as well. There are lovely gold gilded surfaces all around. There's red silk and purple drapes hanging from various places. It is an extravagant place. Rage, what are you thinking? You've just been slapped and then seen Billy give a small copper to a guard who's clearly nervous, and now you've been dragged into a very expensive restroom.
So bright and white. And, Billy, did I do good?
You need to stop talking when we're around the rich people. You come from a hole. I love you, but these are different worlds.
Okay.
Okay, Rage,
But you did great.
how are you feeling now, Rage?
I want to go home.
Remember, you've been hired to do this job.
I don't want to do it. I want to go home.
Don't make me turn this party around.
Callum,
Thirsty.
you were getting changed outside. You
Yeah.
looked through the window, you looked through the kitchen, you saw the door swing open, and then you saw Billy carrying Rage as you both made eye contact when you were halfway through changing.
Mm-hmm.
You've managed to completely get changed and walk inside the kitchen. The chefs are looking over at you confused as they don't know who you are.
I go up to them, I'm like, "Hey guys, I'm a new hire for today. Apparently the party was going to be bigger than they expected, so they've brought me on board. Is there anything you need me to do?"
Are you sure you're going to be saying that, seeing as the chef that you've just told you are security is still working there making food?
So security told me that security needed to be a bit lighter today, so I've been shoved in the kitchen.
Roll a d20. Add charisma.
13. And where is my charisma? I've lost my sheet. I am 19 charisma with +4, so...
Sweet. Okay, so you rolled a 17 in total. One of the chefs looked over at you. Yeah, we need some more of the hog roast going to the main hall. We need someone to deliver the biscuits to Frederick von Smythe's study. And I think we're running out of wine pretty much everywhere. So if you can get on sorting all those things out, that'd be great.
Yeah, no worries. I'll get on it.
He just stares at you and waits for you to do something.
I grab the biscuits. I'll do the easy one first. And I carry a little tray of biscuits.
Easy! You've met
Yeah.
Frederick, yeah?
Yeah.
Easy. Bringing him anything.
I take the biscuits, and I just kind of like shimmy out the kitchen and head towards his room.
You shimmy out of the kitchen and then you look around. You're in a corridor now. There's one guard down to your side, seems to be guarding a female bathroom, and then you could head back if you wanted to the main hall kind of area.
I'll go to the main hall.
You go to the main hall. You don't know where Frederick's room is, do you?
Haven't got a clue.
You walk back to the main hall carrying a plate of biscuits, and as you do, very expensive, very exquisite, noble guests walk past you and begin to take the biscuits off the tray as they go and eat them for themselves, and they go, "Yes, thank you. Very nice." You walk into the people milling around, and within a couple of seconds your tray is almost half empty of biscuits already.
Right. As I'm walking, I pull my little apron up and just put it over the biscuit tray to hide them as I'm walking forward. And I ask, who's around me? Is there anyone of anyone who's hired to be there?
Yeah, there's a guard standing in silver armour with a sword on again.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I ask her, excuse me, do you know where the study is? It's my first day on the job.
Yeah, straight up the stairs, straight down into the corridor, go through the big red door marked death.
Right, thank you.
You're welcome, good luck.
Well, should have done the hog roast first. So, I follow the instructions.
You head up the stairs, and the corridor is lovely. It's extravagant. It's beautiful and gilded as anything, and you walk straight to the end, and as you walk past various doors on either sides, you can hear guests milling around inside, talking, chatting. You look in, and a few of them are playing board games, a few are playing cards, one of them is throwing darts at a dartboard. Every room contains something different, but down at the very end of the corridor, there is a single wooden door, painted bright red, with the word death above it.
Well, that's pretty telling of what's going to happen here. Is there like a gap under it?
Under the door?
Mm-hmm.
Just about. Not too much, but there is a tiny gap. You going to try and have a look?
Yeah, I want to take a peek. I want to just lie down and have a look under there.
Okay, roll a d20.
11.
You put the tray down, and you lie down on the floor, kneeling down, placing your head against. You're going to strain one eye. You can see inside an extravagant study. Beautiful big oaken desk, books around the outside, files and folders filling the whole room. And about 2 inches behind the door, 2 feet, standing immediately there. You hear the turn of a key, you hear the turn of a handle, and then you are immediately smacked in the face by the bottom of the door as it attempts to open. The man inside assumes the door is simply stuck or ajar slightly, and so closes it and then opens it again a bit tougher, smacking you in the face a little bit harder as you lie on the floor. You have to make a choice now, Cal.
Yeah.
You can either quickly stand up with a bright red half of a face to admit that you were in fact spying, or remain there and attempt to keep the door closed.
So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the edge of the biscuit tray and just like jam it under the door a bit and sit on it so that it properly jams the door.
Roll a d20.
12.
12.
Yes.
You go to jam the biscuit tray under the door. Unfortunately, the gap under the door is quite big, bigger than you expected, and the biscuit tray is quite thin. So what instead you end up doing is sliding the whole biscuit tray under the door and jamming it quite powerfully into the toes of the person on the other side, where their toes would be in the boot. So what that person has seen is just struggle to open the door twice, and then a biscuit tray just slam onto their feet from under the door. As you do this, the biscuits on the tray get pushed off the tray as they can't fit under the door as well. You are now lying on the floor with your face squished up against a tiny bit of an ajar door, with a pile of biscuits in front of you and a biscuit tray jammed half on one side of the door, half on the other, but you're still holding it. And you simply hear a question of, "What the bloody hell?" from the other side. Billy, how's it going for you?
Okay, so is there any like leftover like robes? Has anyone like hung up their coat or something and then forgot to actually take it back with them into the party so that I can dress Rage up in it?
You can't find any clothes, unfortunately. The only thing you do see in this room are the purple drapes.
Okay, I'm gonna take one down that looks like about the right size and maybe just kind of like drape it over her like a cape.
Roll a d20.
Oh, hold on. Oh, 20.
20. You grab one of the purple drapes and you pull it off the roof. It pings off its little hook and then falls down gracefully. You manage to wrap it around Rage in a beautiful purple toga style. It looks like a fantastic flowing dress. And Rage, if you stand up, it flows and falls in all the right places. You look like nobility. It's beautiful.
Never had clothes that cover me before.
It's a curtain, darling.
Oh, not on her, it's not.
What's a
On her, it's a
curtain?
perfect, beautiful robe.
Well, curtain. It's very nice. I
I'm
like.
glad you like.
You are now both ready to attempt to return to the party and try and find the records that show any of Frederick von Smythe's illegal dealings. Do you wish to remain in the bathroom for any reason?
Wait.
No,
So
I'm ready to talk. What?
if I say, like, if someone comes up to me and they're like, "Hello," I'm like, "Hello," like, I'm not allowed to talk.
You can talk, but just try using more of sentences, longer words, slightly.
Hello.
Try to. Why don't you just pretend to be me? Great.
Okay.
Yes, sure. Let's just go with that. I'm sure nothing will go wrong.
As you are talking, another noble lady steps past the guard and walks into the bathroom. She looks around and sees you. Oh my goodness, these parties are so gauche, wouldn't you say?
Do you know what? I'm actually so bored, but don't tell anyone.
Oh.
I would hate to offend.
My goodness, the same. And the biscuits, whoever was carrying them just covered them with an apron and ran away from me. I didn't even get to have any finger food. I say, I love your dress. You look fantastic.
Peasants.
I know. Peasants everywhere. Oh my goodness, but it's good to have people of class around, isn't it? Right, anyway, I must use the little girl's room. I will chat to you lovely ladies later. This lady turns around and walks into a cubicle.
We leave immediately.
You
Well,
leave
sorry, to-
immediately.
well,
Fantastic.
Rage out. Let's go. We have to go back to the party.
You leave the bathroom, and as you do, Thomas Anders immediately grabs you and pulls you to the side. Right, listen. How did you find me?
Peasants.
I literally never.
You
just
used
say
the
word.
peasants. Who are you?
Yes.
Not you. Who are you?
Peasants. Ah.
Rage, roll a d20.
God's sake.
It's a what? It's a two.
This is going great so far on all parts.
Right. Both of you are going to leave right now, or I'm going to call the guards and explain that you are not my daughter, and I don't know who the hell she is, but she is dressed in a curtain.
Okay, look, I will tell you everything. I'm sorry. This is my sister. She's
No,
not yours,
I don't care who
worry.
you
This
are.
is
I don't care who
someone
she is. You are going to leave right now. This man is going to call the guards unless you do something. Now, the guard that was meant to be guarding the actual bathroom has left for a second. There's no one in the corridor, and there's only one noblewoman inside the bathroom. Thomas Anders, this esteemed antique collector, knows that you are not his daughter, despite the fact that he thought you legitimately might be through to his entire lifestyle. You have to do something now to prevent him telling the guards, or leave the party.
Billy, can I?
No. Too public. Can
Okay.
can we... Bathroom.
Okay.
Was that him, or was that you doing that to yourself?
No. That was me slamming my hand over his mouth and dragging him to the bathroom.
Roll a d20.
Just turned into Hitman.
Come on, Rage.
14 plus
14.
4.
18.
Yes, for strength.
You manage to grab him, not just slap over his mouth, but full on grab his face. His eyes open in shock and terror as you step back and yank him violently into the bathroom with you. He steps in, he tries to mumble and scream, but he can't because you've got hold of his mouth. Now, there is still one noble lady in the cubicle. You don't know how long she's going to be in there. But Billy, you've just seen Rage rip this guy into the bathroom. What are you going to do? Quickly.
I'm going to run into the bathroom and I'm going to use control flames to extinguish all the candlelight, which I assume is lighting the bathroom up.
Excellent. Roll a d20.
14.
14. You manage to walk in, focus your mind for a second, and all of the candles in the room go out, plunging the room into temporary darkness. What are you doing next?
Okay, Rage, we need to...
Rage, while Billy's being indecisive, what are you doing to this man? It's just gone dark.
I drag him into a toilet with me.
Yep.
And I put his face against the wall.
Yep.
And I say, shh, be quiet.
Roll a d20.
And I say angrily, grr. So that's 14 plus 2, 16.
Putting his face against the wall is pretty violent, and you almost slam his head up against the wall, and you can see him almost get concussed just from this. He's bleeding already. You've grabbed his mouth and his jaw very powerfully, and you've slammed his head into the wall. This is a lot of violence for this man. He is trying to scream, and he starts trying to bite your hand to get free from it. What are you doing?
I bite him back.
You bite him back?
Yes.
Roll a d20.
You bite me. It's an 11.
What part of him are you biting?
He's biting my... I'll bite his neck.
You wish to just jump forward and just bite him on the neck?
Yes. Like a little, you know... arr.
You jump forward and you bite him on the neck, and he kind of freezes up for a second and steps back and stops biting you.
Good boy.
I don't know what we're doing anymore. I thought this was very violent, but that bite has got me thinking maybe I assumed the wrong thing.
I lick his neck.
Oh, God.
Roll a d20.
20!
As you lick his neck, memories flood back of his first love. He calms down, and he looks at you, longing in his eyes. No one can know we're here.
Okay.
Right. What happens now?
I've never done this before.
Billy, while Rage is distracting Thomas Anders with her methods, what are you doing?
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna leave. I think she's got this. She has got him totally distracted. If I stay there, it's gonna be a bit awkward. So
But you don't know. But you don't yet know where you're going. Rage, you could take advantage of the situation. You need to get to the study somehow, but you don't know where that is.
Oh. We should go to the study.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh, yeah.
On Frederick von Smythe's desk, no less.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Peasants.
Bloody peasants. Thomas Anders is now entirely on board with your plan. Right. Where's the study?
I don't know. Where is the study?
We'll find out.
Okay.
He steps forward and goes to take your hand.
I take it.
And then he quickly leads you out of the bathroom. The guard has returned. Thomas turns. You, guard, where's the study? The guard explains that it's up the stairs and down the corridor. Billy, you've pretty much just watched Rage grab this guy by the jaw, slam him against the back of a bathroom cubicle, bite him and then lick his neck, and then him go, ooh, yes. And then we'll go, let's go to the study.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna just leave immediately. I'm gonna just be out of their way because I don't want to.
Well, as soon as you've left, they've pretty much followed straight behind you, and
Yeah.
now Thomas is walking down the corridor toward the study, or toward the main entrance hall, then up the steps toward the study. Are you following them?
I am, but before I actually leave the bathroom, I want to actually cast invisibility on myself.
Roll the d20.
15.
You are slowly fading invisible. It's not as effective as the first time you cast it. Someone will notice you easier, and it's not going to last as long. But you are now mostly transparent as you follow them down the corridor. Thomas leads you up the stairs and down. And then Thomas starts to slow down as he just says, "What the bloody hell?" Looking down the corridor, he sees a chef lying on the floor with his head on the carpet, staring under the door with a tray of biscuits half pushed through under the door, a pile of biscuits next to him, and his face kind of stopping the door from opening repeatedly. Cal, what do you say when you see Thomas Anders and Billy, Rage, walk up behind you, Rage dressed in a lovely purple curtain that suits her as a dress?
I look at them while I'm still keeping the door pressed.
So as you turn your head, it now just starts banging the back of your head instead.
Yeah. I'm like, I thought I was delivering the biscuits to the study, and I thought they'd fit under there. I didn't want to disturb. They didn't, though.
Is that what you're saying? You were delivering the biscuits?
That's what I say, yeah.
Okay. Go back downstairs, chef.
I will go and I will clean the mess up first. So I stand up and step aside, allowing the door to open.
The door opens.
Pulling the tray.
The door opens and out steps a small man in a black robe with gold trim around a hood up. He looks up at you.
Oh.
What? Did you push biscuits under my door?
Well, no, I didn't actually. I thought I could, but you've got some very good tolerances on these door frames.
He looks down at the pile of biscuits on the floor and looks back up at you. What makes you think you can talk to me?
You talk to me?
I could imagine you out of existence. I could click my fingers and you would be but a memory.
I'm very sorry to offend Mr. Smythe. To make it up to you, do you want your office cleaning along with the pile of biscuits that are now on the floor?
No one goes into my office except me. Do you see the word above the door?
I did, and to be honest, that is why I tried to push the biscuits under the door.
No one goes into this office apart from me. Anyone who does, death.
Right, it makes sense now. Can I try to quickly hypnotize him with a flute tune?
Yes, roll a d20.
Okay. That is a 11.
Now play a tune.
Okay. Let's see if we can bash out a RuneScape newbie melody. And I don't remember the rest of it, so that's all you're getting.
Is that what you say to him?
Yeah, pretty much.
What? What is this? What? You come to my study, hit me with a biscuit tray, make crumbs on my floor, and then play whatever the hell that was at me. And who are you? He turns and looks down the corridor toward you, Rage.
Peasants. Yes. The peasants.
Not the right choice.
And who's that with you?
We are the entertainment.
Roll the d20.
2.
The entertainment is not needed in the study, is it? Go back downstairs before I fireball all of you, before I turn you into snails, before I turn your brains into ice, before I slice you apart with conjured blades.
Bedroom entertainment.
Roll a d20.
Oh no.
Please don't say.
2. I swear I rolled.
If you're still in my sights within the next 10 seconds, I'm going to flay your skin from your bones, knit it into a nice cape, and wear it while I parade your skinless corpse, still alive, around the rest of the party.
That's what you're into, then that's fine. Let's go.
Billy, you've been watching all of this. Now, the man's made a lot of threats, but done nothing yet. What are you thinking?
I'm mostly invisible.
You are
and
mostly
the door's
invisible.
Open.
He hasn't.
Can I just?
You know what?
sneak
As an
past
incredibly
him?
powerful mage as he is, he hasn't detected you at all.
I just want to sneak past him. I want to get in this study.
Yeah, roll a d20.
11.
Yeah, he doesn't even notice you. He's not aware of any magical energy whatsoever. You just managed to walk up, sneak past Cal, sneak past Rage, step over the pile of biscuits, and just walk straight into his study. Totally fine.
I'm in. What can I see?
You can see books, you can see folders, you can see files, you can see various toys and trinkets around the side, and you can see various magical items displayed wrongly. You can see wands held upside down. You can see magical swords that you can clearly sense are drained of their power. You can see a staff in a glass case that you sense nothing magical from whatsoever. You can see scrolls written in an ancient tongue that is clearly wrong. It's just random squiggles on a scroll. You have no idea what any of it means.
Okay, is there... Because it was a document we were looking for, right?
You were looking for any kind of financial documents, but this whole thing seems extremely strange. It's almost like it's a facsimile of what a mage's sanctum should look like.
Does he have like a main desk that I can see?
Yes, a huge big oaken desk with lots of books open on it. They're all open at random pages, and glancing over them, your magical knowledge tells you these pages have nothing to do with each other.
Weird.
Callum, you're still standing up there looking at this dude, and he's still staring back at you. Rage, you're still standing with Thomas Anders, who's very nervous about this whole thing because he knows exactly how dangerous Von Smythe is.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas looks at you.
And I look at him. Should we go into the dart room there?
The dark room?
The dart,
The dart
darling,
room?
dart,
Oh,
dart.
Yeah, yes, okay. We'll play darts.
Okay.
Yes, it's fine.
Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Smythe. He starts bowing multiple times as he steps backwards away from Frederick von Smythe. And then
Right.
you take a few steps down the corridor, and you head inside one of the nearest side rooms. There's a couple of people playing darts. Callum, you're watching this. What are you doing while Frederick has pretty much managed to threaten you several times? He looks back at you. I swear, if you're not out my sights, with a moment more, I am going to conjure spikes out of your bones from inside your own body and explode your flesh off you.
Yeah, so I while Billy's in the room, I want to keep his attention. So I start like sweeping up the biscuits onto the tray, and I'm like, Frederick, can I call you Frederick, Mr.
No,
Smythe?
absolutely not. I will implode your eyes for even thinking the idea.
Okay, Mr. Smythe. So if I was to get you more biscuits, what takes your fancy? We like Jammy Dodgers,
I
Rich
don't
tea?
know what they are. Why are you still here? I will call the guards in a moment.
You believe it or not, you paid me to bring you biscuits. I'm doing what you have paid for.
He goes to call the guards. You can see him inhale before he starts to shout and yell for the guards. You've got one action to do something with this to stop him doing it. What are you going to do?
I am going to jump at him and try and like cover his mouth as I try to take him down.
Roll a d20.
19.
19. You drop the biscuits, you jump, hand over the mouth, pounce back into the actual study. Are you closing the door behind you?
Yes.
Brilliant. The door closes. You manage to slam his relatively small form onto the floor, and he stares up at you with terror in his eyes as you have your hand over his mouth.
You're not going to do anything, are you? You're a fraud, aren't you? Good. Now sit quiet. And I take him over to the corner and sit him on a chair or a chest or whatever's there, and I stand guard.
I'll pay you. I'll pay you. How much money do you want?
How much have you got?
How much do you need? Endless amounts. Gold, jewels, gems, whatever you need. Land, people, anything.
Information.
Okay.
We want information on your most recent extravagant purchase.
No. No, I can't give you any of that. No, the one thing we can't do.
We? Who's we?
No. I can't tell you anything, I'm sorry.
Billy, I think you're going to have to use some mind magic for this one.
I am not there. Oh, am I? Well, did you drag him inside the
Yep,
office?
he's
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
we're in
actual
the
room.
office.
You're just
okay,
looking
right,
around
got
and
you,
you've just
sorry.
seen him. You're starting to slowly appear again as well.
Okay, great.
In fact, as you appear, Smythe even looks over at you. What the hell?
So, you are hiding something. Is it one of these items? Is it in this room?
I don't know what you're after. What are you after? What do you want?
What Callum just said. We want your latest purchase.
Can't give you the financial records. You notice that as he says financial records, he glances to a small drawer on the right-hand side.
Before I go over and look, can I detect thoughts on him so I can try and find out which
Roll the
position
d20.
in the drawer exactly I'm looking for? 7.
7. Add your intelligence modifier.
10.
He's been in this situation before. Frederick von Smythe has one thing, an excessive amount of money and wealth. He himself has no power whatsoever, but people believe he does because he can pay people to be powerful for him. Everything he has is booby-trapped, and all of his finances are kept around in various places. The door he's glanced out, or the drawer he's glanced at right now, is another booby trap. It contains sleeping gas. He's looking at it repeatedly, hoping that you go and open it. His finances are likely kept in his actual big main desk, locked behind several magical wards that he himself understands but didn't make.
Okay, so I'm aware that that's sleeping gas in there.
Yes.
Callum, why did we get him to open the drawer?
That sounds like a fantastic idea.
No, it's fine, You can open the door. I'll sit here. I wouldn't want to leave this chair.
Really? But they're your items.
That's true.
Go ahead.
He stands up from the chair and walks over toward the drawer. He takes his hand off the drawer, turns around and throws a punch at you, Callum. React as fast as you can.
I pull out my flute and go for a quick block.
You roll a d20.
13.
The punch travels, hits the side of the flute, and is deflected away from your face. It just misses you at the top. What are you doing now?
I tackle him to the floor again, and this time try to, get his arms behind his back and restrain him.
Roll a d20.
That is a 6.
Billy, help him out. You've just noticed this guy punch and miss.
Yep. I'm going to firebolt him.
A fireball or a firebolt? Something smaller?
Bolt.
A
Just
firebolt.
straight for
Like a
his
little
heart.
tiny concentrated blast of heat energy at
Yeah,
him.
like a little, arrow.
Roll a d20.
5.
Focus and describe the magical ethereal bow that you managed to generate from midair.
So I use my staff to hold one end, and then with my other hand, I pull back an imaginary...
So you hold your staff out the front, you manage to conjure
word for it.
a beam of magical energy that acts as the bow, and you draw it back,
Yeah.
and you loose.
Go to let go.
You loose. A small concentrated arrow, almost a bolt of fire, flies through the air, past Callum, past Frederick von Smythe, and smashes into the cabinet behind him, exploding it open. Sleeping gas pours out into the room quickly, and you all begin to cough. As that's done, a couple of documents behind catch fire and catch light. It begins to very quickly creep up the tapestry hanging on the side. What are you doing? Callum, you've just noticed a fireball blast past you. This has scared Frederick too much, he's not sure what to do.
Yeah.
The room is on fire, and it's filling with sleeping gas. What are you doing?
I want to cast Bardic Inspiration on Billy.
Bardic Inspiration on Billy.
Mm-hmm.
After she's already sent this firebolt down.
I'm hoping whatever water spell comes next is gonna save us here.
Callum has turned around, looked at you, Billy. He's pretty much decided, look, you made this fire, unmake it. And he has inspired you to cast one more spell. The room is starting to catch fire. Small embers as they time. Small creeping, lashing flames up the side. What do you need to do?
I want to control flames just on the one side where it's kind of where the documents are, and I want to kind of direct it more towards the gas so it burns it away.
You want to actually now control the fire that you've made and use it to burn the sleeping gas out of the air.
Yeah.
Roll a d20.
5.
You pull the energy. You control the flames. You throw it into the sleeping gas. Gas and fire combine and explode. You are both knocked backward onto the floor. Frederick von Smythe and his small frame thrown across the room into some bookshelves, knocking him onto the floor, books falling off. Flames catch up the wall quicker. Rage. You have just gone into this dart room with other people throwing little kind of flighted darts at the wall over there. And as you walk in, they look at you and go, "Oh, goodness. Oh, how uncouth. I see. Well, I didn't realise it was that type of party." A few of them begin to kind of corral together and attempts to leave the room.
I'll sit down with this guy. With this dude.
You sit down with Thomas Anders, who looks down in front of you, and he's like, "So, what do we do now?"
Right. So, in my head, I'm thinking, I gotta buy some time. So.
And as you think that, you hear a thud through the wall coming from the study. You're not sure what's just happened, but it sounds like someone's head hit the floor. You ignore it and continue talking to Thomas.
So, I'm really into bee conservation, right? So, I thought I'd go to this beekeeper near me, and I buy a dozen bees, right? So, I buy a dozen bees. I'm like, all right, mate, cheers. And I head outside, and I go back to my house, right?
And as you were telling the joke, you then hear a drawer open in the other room, or you hear the sound of a punch being swung and almost deflected away. And then you hear the sound of a magical arrow being blasted through the air, and a slight explosion rocks the wall next to you. Thomas looks over at it and is slightly distracted by the wall clearly being rocked by something blowing up, but then looks back at you as you're telling it.
As I was saying, I take my bees back and I count my bees. And I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 bees. I'm like, oh no. So I go back to the beekeeper. I'm like, right, mate, I've paid for 12 bees and you've given me 13. And he's like, yeah, it's all right if I give you a freebie.
As the punchline lands, you hear another explosion from the wall. You hear the sound of a body hitting the bookshelf. And then you feel the wall vibrate even more. And then you start to see flames lashing up from the inside of this wall. You feel it getting really hot. And Thomas looks at you. Mike, it sounds like there's fire. Fire. Rage, what are you doing?
Right, I'll see you later, darling. I'll give him a kiss on the forehead and I head out.
Roll the d20.
God, it
1!
1.
Yep.
The kiss is more of a headbutt. It's more of the last thing Thomas ever
Let's go
experiences. You're right.
Yeah.
All right, I'll see you later, darling. And then you cave in the front of his skull with the front of your skill. You hear the snap as the bone implodes, piercing into his brain. The last thing Thomas Anderson ever experienced was a shit bee joke, and then you headbutting him to death.
Oops.
You cave in the front of his skull by headbutting him, leaving him dead on the floor. You leave the room and you look down toward the study with death written over the top of the door. You can see through the edge of the door frame the shadows and flickers of flames licking around. What are you going to do?
I'm going to cast my rage, and I'm going to barge in. I'm going to kick the door down. Yeah!
Roll a
And then get
d20.
through.
You should just try kissing the door. Might be more effective.
That's a 6. However,
Rage, I
I
believe.
believe I can roll advantage.
Give yourself advantage on this rage. Roll again.
13 plus 4.
Okay.
Quick math.
Frederick von Smythe manages to stand up inside the burning, gas-filled office. Less gas now, seeing as you exploded it, Billy. He looks around. Several of his books are on fire. He looks toward his desk, runs toward it, begins to press some buttons, and then opens up a secret drawer, grabbing a handful of documents, clearly the documents you were after. He shoves them under his arms and then dashes nimbly past you. He runs toward the door to exit the office. He turns to look at you two, Callum and Billy. He simply smiles. He knows he's quicker than you. He knows he's faster than you. And he knows he's got the documents that you want. He turns to the door to leave. The door suddenly explodes off its hinges and flies into the room, smacking him in the face and knocking him out onto the floor. Standing in the door is Rage, her foot in the air still, after stamping through it and smashing her way in. Rage, you simply step into the room. It's on fire. Callum's there. Billy's there. There's a small man carrying some folders on the floor. The door is kind of half leaning on him. What do you say?
Less talky, more fighty.
The fight's finished, Rage.
Oh, you guys!
You just
You
kicked
did
a
it
door
without
in.
me!
You just kicked a door into a mage.
You've just flattened a dude.
About
You
time you
started
arrived.
without me?
Where have you been?
Well, I was talking to... And then... You know what? Doesn't matter. The guy on the floor, I'm gonna like mount him, like put my knees over his chest so he can't move. And just so he's on the floor and he can't move.
He's pretty much unconscious.
Oh,
So
right,
you-
okay.
You've kicked a door into a skinny, not mage, thrown the door off him and thought, time to mount.
Riding time.
That's how I like my men, unconscious on the floor.
That's a clip. Callum,
Yep.
while you've been standing up after having the fireball explode, seeing Frederick grab his documents, run toward the door, and then the door just smash into him as
Yep.
Rage clipped through it, what are you going to do?
I mean, at this point, stealth's gone out the window. I just jump on the door.
The door that's on top of the dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you trying to kill him?
Well, at this point, we can't leave any evidence.
So you want to try and crush him?
Yes.
Roll a d20. All you needed
Okay.
to get was the documents. The documents that he's holding.
6.
The door is slanted because it's kind of at an angle on him. So when you slam down on it with your feet, you're not slamming onto a flat surface. It's a slanted surface. So you slip, go straight arse over tit and slam your head on the floor as you fall down as well. Billy, you have just seen Frederick open the desk, grab the documents, run toward the door. You've seen the door blast off its hinges in almost a perfect upright position, slamming into Frederick, knocking him on the floor, and then falling onto Frederick itself. And then you've seen Callum jump up, slam onto the actual door, fly himself over, and end up on the floor as well. Rage, while you're doing all this, is running up, trying as hard as she can to mount the unconscious Frederick. Billy, what are you doing?
Guys, I appreciate the enthusiasm, but do you know what? Never mind. I'm going to cast Mage Hand and try to grab the documents. I don't want to get in there because he's all a bit messed up and Rage is on top of him, so I'm just going to
Roll a d20.
I think we're both on top of him at this point.
That's another 5. This dice is going to jail, I swear.
You cast Mage Hand and you grab. Callum, you feel parts of you being grabbed.
Oh.
Oh, indeed. The problem is the Mage Hand is gripping very tightly.
Oh, no.
Far too tightly.
Not my chestnuts.
Callum, what are you going to do?
Callum, get out the way! I'm trying to get the documents!
I just roll over, slowly holding the grabbed parts.
You roll over and the Mage Hand is now free. Billy, you are able to grab the documents and levitate them back to you as you grab them.
Okay, we've got them. We need to get out of here, guys. But there's still people in here. Maybe we should just like leave out the window or something.
Good plan.
Thoughts?
Yes.
Are you going to look out the window or just jump?
I'm not going to be jumping out the window. I'm going to go to look out the window.
You go to
See
look
how
out the
far down
window.
it is.
The flames in this room are still lashing up, by the way. It's beginning to engulf the room. You need to get out the window pretty bloody quickly. It's only one floor up, and thankfully, as you look down, it actually jumps into another one of those small internal gardens.
I run through
Rage.
the window.
You're going to run, jump at the window, and smash your way out.
I'm gonna use the front part of my arm, whatever this is called, to break the window, and then
Yep.
as I jump through, I'm going to land like superhero. Wow.
Roll a d20.
Like a squirrel.
18 plus Dex,
Yeah, we'll do a dex.
which is plus 3.
Callum, roll a d20. Are you following her?
Yes, I am.
Roll a d20.
That is a 19. And do I have any decks? No.
Billy, are you also following them? After this jump, the room is on fire.
I'm just jumping out as well.
You can hear the footsteps
Catch
of the
me!
guards. Catch me, you
Whoa.
say. Roll a d20.
13.
Rage, you run forward. You leap, you smash your elbow into the glass. It shatters, you fly out. Outside, in the little garden area, the chefs are taking a quick pipe break. A quick drink break after having prepared. They're waiting for the spare chef to come back and pick up the hog roast that he promised he would take earlier and then just hasn't appeared again. And little Timmy is standing admiring his father. He always wanted to be a chef as well. Until, suddenly, the shattering of glass. He looks up, and flying in slow motion, an angry, red-headed woman, clad in a purple curtain, flies over his head, and then lands like a superhero on the grass, followed by a bard dressed as a chef, and then followed finally by a wizard with a staff with magical energy from top to bottom, looking like a bow, carrying documents in her hand. They all land carefully and nimbly on the ground outside, and then stand up and look around. The internal garden that you're in doesn't have any way to get outside. The large fence that's blocking off the edge of the estate is still there. You need to find a way to get out, which means either back to the sewer, back to the front gates, or somehow up onto the roof and then over the fence. Rage, what are you going to do?
Oh.
Hey, mate, how you doing?
The chefs or to Timmy?
Timmy.
Timmy. Hello?
Hi. Where's the secret exit?
Do you mean the sewers?
Is that where you go in the nighttime to when you don't want to go sleep?
No. No, I go onto the roof.
The roof? How do you get to the roof?
He points to a ladder that's connected to the wall leading up onto the roof, effectively, for the gardener to take it.
Okay.
Callum,
Thanks.
while you're watching Rage have a chat with a child, what are you doing?
I was planning on taking the sewer back, as I'm pretty well versed in sewer travelage now.
Getting to the sewers might be a tad more difficult. Climbing up onto the roof using the ladder that's right next to you and then simply jumping over the outer wall of this estate might work.
So yeah, I run over to the ladder, and I'm gonna take it. Does it have sides this time?
Yes, you can climb this one quite easily.
Okay, I climb the ladder.
Perfect. Billy, what are you doing?
I'm going to run for the ladder as well. I see them both going towards it. So
You
I'm
managed
just
to
gonna
climb up.
head
Rage, are
towards
you
it.
following onto the ladder?
Aye.
Having leapt out of the study, carrying the documents you needed to find, and landing on a small internal garden-like area, you notice the ladder leading up onto the roof. Having a quick chat with the chefs and Timmy, you quickly scramble up the ladder. You can hear now that the smashing of the window has summoned the guards. Guards are running down the corridor that you were previously in, flooding into the actual chamber, the study itself, and finding Frederick von Smythe on the floor, crushed by a door. Guards are beginning to sound an alarm, and you can hear bells ringing as well. You're standing on the roof of the manor. You could, if you want to, attempt to leap over the outside wall and then run into effectively the forest beyond. Or you could run across the rest of the roof and run back into the city, which sounds dangerous. Rage, what are you going to do? All you have to do is escape.
Which way, guys?
The way with the less people. Come on, we need
yeah.
to get out of here.
Billy, are you
Okay.
going to lead the way?
Yeah, I'm going to run just straight towards the forest.
The jump from the roof over the outside fence down into the forest is again about a one-story fall. The fence itself is spiked around the edge. It's not a difficult jump, it's maybe a metre away, but there's always the potential that it might fail. Are you going to use any magical tricks to make this more likely to succeed?
I've got nothing that I can do that with.
So simply hope and faith.
I've got a plan.
Callum, what's the plan?
I grab little Timmy.
He's on the floor still. He hasn't followed you.
I lean off the roof, grab little Timmy, pull him up, and I throw him onto the spikes so that if we are to hit the spikes, we hit a Timmy instead.
You are going to mitigate the spike damage
Yes.
by impaling a child on the spikes.
Yeah, you seem pretty surprised. It's pretty on brand for this group.
Roll a d20.
18.
Can I do a saving throw on behalf of Timmy, please?
Yes, you can. Roll better than an 18.
I love children. I love
And
befriending
add
children.
proficiency.
Why would you do that? Oh, fuck. Sorry, Timmy. Oh! It's not good, mate. It's
What
a
is
10.
it? It's a 10.
It's a 10.
Sorry, Timmy.
Callum realises that jumping over the spikes might be quite dangerous, so instead takes the incredibly noble, chaotic, good bard approach of going down the ladder, grabbing the child, bringing it back up, and just slamming him onto these spikes to almost mitigate the damage. No piercing damage for you. Do you now wish to attempt to jump over the spikes?
Yes.
You may do so with advantage due to the cushion of Timmy.
Due to the Timmy. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, well, that's a 20 anyway, so there we go.
Natural 20.
Natural 20.
The last thing Timmy sees is you backflipping over him as you jump from the roof
Pirouette.
toward the forest beyond. Rage. Roll to jump.
I'm upset. It's a
You won't be when you land on that
It's
spike.
a 16.
Plus 3.
Yep,
That's
a lovely leap over it. Billy, roll to jump over the spikes.
Here we go. Oh, a 1.
Genuinely,
Yeah, genuinely a 1.
You'll thank the Timmy spikes now.
you leap. The slate under your foot slides back, meaning you didn't get the purchase or the leap off the roof you wanted, and you only leap about a metre. You look down, and thankfully it's not a spike. It's a child's ribcage. You stand on it, totally unharmed, and then leap off into the forest beyond. Callum's plan was disturbing, yet remarkably effective. You all land on the outskirts, and you can hear the chaos that's happening back within the main manor. You can hear the screams of the chef, having just seen you do that to his son, who was only moments before so looking up to his cook father and wanting to follow in his footsteps. You've managed to get the documents. All you need to do now is wait until nightfall and then meet the guards out the front. Is there anything else you wish to do before you set up camp in the forest and simply wait?
I want to hide the documents that are on.
Oh, not the
so-
body, just the documents.
The body's on top of the spikes. You can't get it back.
Yeah,
True.
the
Yeah,
body's fine.
they'll find it.
It's not going anywhere.
There are so many Fs in the chat for Timmy right now, just so you know. For those of you who haven't been to
R.I.P.
these sessions
Timmy.
before, little Timmy is a dangerous name. They'll die. Always. You manage to survive the night, eating bugs and grubs from around the forest and a few of the supplies you've brought in your pack, and the next day you walk into the city again, down to meet your contact. He thanks you for handing the documents over and assures you that legal action will now be taken against Frederick von Smythe. Now they have proof of all of his illegal wrongdoings. You're paid handsomely for your efforts, several gold and silver coins to each of you, but you are also asked to never return to the city again. Rage, you have managed to successfully sneak into the manor. You have managed to successfully find the documents of Frederick von Smythe, and you've managed to somewhat successfully escape. How do you feel?
I feel great. I, got to do my joke to the guy. He seemed like he liked it.
That you then
I-
headbutted to death?
Yeah, but sometimes love is tough. And apparently I'm quite aggressive. So
It wasn't love.
mistakes
You
happen.
slammed his head into a toilet cubicle,
Look,
bit him, licked his
Yep.
neck, and
Yep.
then headbutted him once and he died.
some people are into that, and that's okay.
They just don't live to tell the tale.
No.
Yes.
Callum, how do you feel this has gone?
I think this went really well. This is the first time I've been very stealthy in my approach to begin with. You know,
Climbed into a bush while making eye contact with a guard, and then played a flute while he was watching you.
Hey, look, I took one for the team, and I crawled through a poop chute.
And then you dragged another cook into a bush, went to fight him, and took clothes from him.
Normally, I would have just stabbed him with the flute.
That's true. Billy, how do you feel it went?
Do you know what, Rage? I'm really proud of you today. I know that you want to smash everything, but you didn't, and I think that's really good.
I almost smashed
Callum,
something.
we can't keep
Sorry.
doing this. You did?
Oh, for God's sake, woman.
You are paid. You have received
Wait,
a handsome reward,
I don't want to know.
and you travel off into the distance, through the forests, over the bridges, across the rivers, and away over the mountains, up to your next adventure. You may never be able to return to the town of whatever this town was called, but you have indeed succeeded in one Adventurers Guild mission, and only one person died, which I think is an improvement on the majority of stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't joined us for Session Zero before, the reason we as a group are called Session Zero is because it tricks people into clicking on the video thinking it's the first session in a campaign. Every single episode that we do is episodic, as in it doesn't necessarily connect to the previous or to the next. Think of it as an episode of Star Trek, effectively. You turn up, you watch one, you don't need to watch the rest. You can find Rage Darling, you can find Callum Upton, and you can find Billy Trixx on various forms of social media, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. We are live with Session Zero every Wednesday on Twitch, and if anyone was at EGX, the European Games Expo, we did perform live there on stage. We've also performed at the Insomnia Games Expo, and we are hoping next year to appear and perform live at London Comic Con. So if anyone is at any of these major events, please let us know, and it would be super cool to have you guys in the audience. Rage, any final thoughts?
If you would like to catch more of this chaos, all of the episodes are live on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, that you can watch on demand. So if you are working at home or in office, you got a cup of tea, got a cup of coffee, you want something on in the background, there's like 12 episodes for you to go and have a little browse on. So make sure you do that.
And Callum, I believe you've got the same one. It's the Session Zero YouTube channel, isn't it? And there's a Session Zero Twitch that you can also, Twitter that you can follow through and catch all of the updates. Cal, you're working on some cool background stuff for this at the minute, aren't you?
Yes, I am. So I'll give people a quick rundown, very quick one, of what we're planning to do. So eventually we are merging all into one stream, which will be on the Session Zero Twitch when we announce that, which will allow us to have a live background that you guys will be able to interact with points, channel points and stuff like that. Subs and bits will do various things in the background, like knocking mugs off shelves, throwing ghosty things at people, and hopefully it'll be really cool.
And Billy, you've been working hard on your Sourceress Trixx cosplay, haven't you? Even your staff that actually disassembles now into two pieces. When we do more live action things on stage, what are you looking forward to with that?
I'm just really excited to see everyone again. EGX was so much fun, and thank you to everyone who came. And also, don't forget, if you want to actually get involved with the community more with us, join the Session Zero Discord, because we have one, and you can tell us about your D&D adventures. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining. We'll see you next week. We've been Session Zero. Take care, good night, and God bless.